Back, Falcons. I hope you are off to a wonderful new school year. I hope you are rested, rejuvenated, and ready to go with our new batch of students. I know that this year will be a very successful year for each and every one of us. Teachers, I am recording our employee handbook. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to call me, email me, text me, see me in my office. I'm available to you at all times. Teachers, this year we will have a new theme, Falcons mining for gold. We always want to strive for excellence in all that we do. So here's our employee handbook. The page below that, you will find the table of contents, followed by the YSD district calendar. Here are all the dates that you may need to know about for the school year. Below that, you do have the T-TESS appraisal system calendar. We will have campus training, T-TESS campus training August 19th. It'll be a brief one. Goal setting will be for all teachers. All teachers will have to set their goals for this school year as well as their SLO. Our appraisal period at our campus will begin in September and end in November. So we can get that done as quick as possible so that we can move on with the school year. End of year conferences will be set up for all teachers for goal setting as well. All dates on this calendar that are in blue are dates that you can be observed. Anything in red are caution dates. The information below as well includes teacher response, general information, and reminders. Right under that, you will find the SLO teacher orientation dates. You have phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3, and the procedures to follow during each phase. Moving on to safety for our campus, you will find the Del Norte map. This map is a map that you will find throughout our campus, in the hallways, in the teachers' classrooms, and throughout the building. You can reference it for fire extinguishers, the defibrillator, fire hydrant, etc. Safety drills. Of course, you know that we have monthly fire drills. Every single month we will have a fire drill. The expectation is that we teach our students to remain calm and orderly, walk out quietly and quickly, and please do not run. We want to ensure the safety of everyone, and if everybody runs out, it just becomes chaotic. Teachers, one new thing having to do with fire drills is that teachers should leave classroom doors open, turn off lights, take emergency bags with them, and exit with all students. But the big thing here is that classroom doors should remain open, okay? We will plan for an evacuation drill. We did plan for one last year. It was just a mock drill. We did not leave the building. But in case of an emergency, we do evacuate to Bel Air High School. And moving on, teachers, I will ask you, please, if you can help us ensure the safety of our students by stopping any visitor that you see walking the hallways with or without a badge. Just ask them, what is your business here on our campus? This will ensure that we are taking precaution with any personnel that comes onto our campus. We want to make sure that there are no intruders on our campus at any time, whether it be an intruder drill or not. We want to maintain the safety of each and every student and teacher on our campus as well. I also ask you, teachers, to maintain a safe environment by not putting any rocks on the doors to keep them open when you exit the building. Each teacher is given a key to enter and exit the building. Please, teachers, I ask you, if we catch anybody putting rocks on the doors, putting door stops on those doors, we will have a conversation about that because it is not safe to do that, and I'm sure that you can agree with me on that. It is not safe to put any type of door stop on any door. So I want to just continue ensuring the safety of our campus. If you see that one of the doors is not working correctly or something is not correct on the campus, if you can come and talk to me and make sure That way we can address it and get it situated and get it squared away. We do have a new nurse on campus. Her name is Nurse Alvarado. She does come from home health care. She previously worked with students or children, young age children. So we're excited to have her on board. So nurse is of course our full-time nurse. She's the only one that will handle medication for any students. So you ever see a student with medication, please make sure that that medication is sent immediately to the front office or with the school nurse, so that we can ensure proper documentation and that medication is being given to that student properly and correctly. Okay. Our school nurse does have the emergency cards in case of any emergency for any one of our students. We will be asking you to fill out an emergency card for yourself as well. In case of an emergency, we know exactly who to contact, and God forbid we need any information for a hospital or whatnot. Injuries. This has for all students. Any job-related injury needs to be reported to administration or the school nurse immediately, and documentation needs to be filled out within a 24-hour period. In an emergency, when you hear it, do it. Lock out. Get inside. Lock outside doors. Students will return inside and continue business as usual. Lockout, it used to be called a modified lockdown. It is no longer a modified lockdown. It is a lockout. So please make sure when you hear lockout, you bring everybody into the building. Lockdown, move away from sight, maintain silence, do not open the doors. Turn off the lights and stay out of sight. Evacuation, the evacuation will be an announced location. That announced location will be Bel Air High School for us. We will bring students' phone numbers. We will leave your stuff behind, and we will follow instructions as quickly as possible. And of course, shelter, hazard and safety strategies for students. That's just the shelter in place that we do, all the extra drills that we do during the school year. On this page, teachers, you will find the vision statement, the campus mission statement, and the code of conduct as well. Our school motto, Falcons Mining for Gold. Our school mascot, of course, Falcons, and our school colors continue to be red and black. School bell schedule followed by our school lunch schedule. Teachers, and here you will find the leadership team responsibilities. So if ever you have any questions on anything at all, you can look here to see who can assist you with that in case we're not available to meet with you. So we're all available for you at all times, but here are our duties in specific as a leadership team. Here we have our master schedule for the school year. One thing that I want to explain based off of the master schedule, one thing is that it's a draft. It will become final the first week of school, just because I want to, not the first week of school, the first week of PD. I want to ensure that I review it with you and that everybody does understand it. One question that I know is going to come up is going to be the Monday Fine Arts schedule and the Monday PLC and conference schedule. As you can see here, you have the Monday Fine Arts schedule, Monday PLC schedule, and Monday conference schedule. So every Monday we will have PLC. Some of the things that did change for Mondays are going to be that you will be taking, some teachers actually will be taking their conference during the fine arts time and attending PLC at a later time, which will be during their PE time. We've modified that schedule every Monday so that we can have those 45 minutes built into the PLC schedule. We just want to make sure that we do have the support that we need for Monday PLCs, but we also are able to meet with you during that time. So if you have any questions at all for that, please let me know and I will clarify and make sure you understand the schedule as well. Okay, of course, you know the duty hours, 7:30 to 3:30. All K6 students are dismissed at 2:45. We exit the front of the building with all of our students. All of our support teachers and our leadership team will adhere to the 7:30 to 3:30 time as well. Faculty dismissal time, of course, is a 3:30 time. Paraprofessionals do have follow a different time schedule, so paraprofessionals, please ensure that you stay within the 8-hour day. Mandatory tutoring will be on Tuesdays and Wednesdays for all Tier 1 students needing additional support. Thursday, mandatory PD. Faculty meeting from 3 to 4. All teachers may leave at 3 every Friday to make up for that half hour. We will have PLCs every Monday, and leadership will meet every Friday. Below you will find the morning duty schedule. So if you're scheduled to do duty, you are a paraprofessional or part of the leadership team or support personnel, here is the schedule for the new year so that we can make sure that all of our students are covered in the areas that they need to be covered in. Okay. Lunch duty schedule, Ms. Arroyo Gardenia and Ojeda will be the ladies on duty from 10:45 to 12:45. After school duty schedule as well, we will have our paraprofessionals, our cross guards, and our teachers support. All teachers will support in the front of the building, making sure that all students are dismissed. Leadership will help us to clear the hallways and ensure all hallways are clear and nobody's left behind. Teacher absences. All classroom teachers must call amigos when absent from work. Special teachers must use M-Center or amigos, and paraprofessionals must call amigos and M-Center as well. Reminder to notify myself or Ms. Urenia in advance or as early as possible in the event that you will be absent or late. Any unauthorized absence of chronic absenteeism, tardiness, and failure to follow procedures for reporting an absence may be cause for disciplinary action. Teachers, we just do ask you if you could please notify us every time you are going to be out. That is a district policy that you notify your supervisor when you are out. Just let us know through a text that you are out for that day. Last year we did have some situations with substitutes that were not nice to our students. I just want to be aware that you have a sub and that our students are going to be taken care of and nobody's going to be mistreated, especially by a substitute. Okay. So if you can please make sure that you notify myself or Ms. Urenia of any time you're going to be out. Just a quick text letting us know that you're going to be out for the day. That we would greatly appreciate that as well. Below we have the employee absence codes. So here are the codes in case you need to put in an absence for whatever reason. Our standard operating procedures, hours on duty, we talked about that, 7:30 to 3:30. Announcements will begin at 7:45. All students and teachers should be in their classroom ready to get started by that time. Another thing is that we want to ensure that you do not leave any student unattended at any time during the work hours. If it becomes necessary for you to leave your classroom in case of an emergency, arrangements must be made for someone to monitor your students. No class is to be dismissed early without notification of the office. All teachers must pick up students at the appropriate time before school and after lunch and PE. If it is necessary for you to leave early, please let either myself or Ms. Urenia know that you are going to be leaving early and for whatever reason. And you could just sign out in the front office. Leaving the building. Teachers who find it necessary to leave the building during work hours, even lunch, just please stop by the office and sign out. Let us know that you're gone. In case of an emergency, we know that you left the building. School attire. It is important that as teachers, we are role models for our students. We make sure that we take proper grooming procedures, that we look and appear to be in a good atmosphere for our students. For the most part, I do allow you all to wear jeans when it's deemed appropriate. And when we have events, there are days where you can wear certain clothing. But please refrain from wearing any warm-ups, flip-flops, spandex, leggings in the building. Only PE personnel is allowed to wear those type of clothing. Cell phone use. Most of the time we use our cell phones, teachers, to communicate with parents through Class Dojo, and I completely understand that. But if you can please refrain from texting and speaking on your cell phone, taking long phone calls. It is completely understandable if you receive a phone call and it's an emergency. During lunchtime, absolutely. During your conference time, absolutely. But we want to maximize instructional time. So even at that, when you sending a Class Dojo message to parents or needing to communicate with anybody, you can please do that during either your conference period or after school or during a break time that you may have, but not during instructional time with your children at any point in time. Moving on, cafeteria. Our cafeteria staff is trained to serve the small breakfast. It is like a snack. It is not a full-blown breakfast, but it is a snack breakfast for our students. That breakfast will be served from 7:30 to 7:45 in your classroom. There's no reason why we should extend breakfast till past 8 o'clock in the morning. Absolutely not. By 7:45, with the small breakfast that our students get, we should be done and ready to roll. Teachers, if you can have your students escort the breakfast bins as well to the cafeteria, that would help us greatly as well. Each teacher will need to escort their students to the cafeteria during lunchtime. Please walk your students to the cafeteria. Please walk them to the cafeteria. Do not let them run off by themselves, because by the time they get past the technology center, children are running down the hallway. So we want to make sure that does not happen and that our students are walking down the hallway and making sure that everybody is safe as well. Okay? The teacher's lounge is there for you. If you can also help us keep it clean, I will do my best so that our custodians keep it clean on a daily basis. But if you do use the microwave and something spills out, please clean it up. Please take time to clean it up, because it is a common area for all teachers, and we want to make sure that we don't have any friends crawling around because of leftover food. So we want to make sure that we maintain everything clean. If you can, please, I did purchase some new refrigerators for the teacher's lounge. There's enough refrigerators for everybody to store their lunch in. So I do ask you to take your lunch home at the end of the school day. If it is not taken home by the weekend, every Friday I have told the custodians to clean out the refrigerators and throw anything away that was left there from the week. Teacher mailbox. So your teacher mailboxes have been moved. They are now located in the front office. Please do not send any students to pick up your mail, because they are in the front office and you are responsible for your own mail, not our front office staff. So please just stop by your box at least once a day to pick up anything that you may have in your mailboxes. Teacher emails. So most of our communication with teachers is done through email. So please make sure you take time at least twice a day to check your emails in case parents contact you, in case administration needs to send you out a form or something. Please respond to parents or emails through email or phone call within the same instructional day, or through Class Dojo as well. And we move on to parent-teacher conferences. So we will have 2 parent-teacher conferences this school year. One will be held September 26th, the other February 18th, both from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. Please make sure you do have a sign-in sheet for parents to sign in that you did meet with them. This year we will have Parent Night, Information Night, August 22nd from 5 to 7. Teachers, we always strive to having that parent-home communication between the school and the home. I know that at times it's difficult with dealing with some situations. One of the biggest things that we got reported back to our campus is that teachers do not promote enough positive and parents don't receive enough positive from their teachers. So I do ask you if you can make parent contact throughout the school year. at least once a month with every single student on a positive note. We do understand that many times we will have to meet with parents for negative responses, things that our children do, but if we promote both the negative and the positive, it will outweigh, and parents will want to collaborate and communicate with you more. We move on to collection of money. Teachers, when you are doing a fundraiser, please, under no circumstances should you leave money in your closet, file cabinet, desk, or any other location in your classroom. You assume financial responsibility for that money left in your room, and if it's lost, it is going to be your problem. Check it in with Maria. Make sure you have that fundraiser form filled out completely, and refer to the employee handbook as well for fundraising procedures. Children of employees. I love having your children on campus, and I thank you for bringing them with you to Del Norte and choosing Del Norte as their home as well. I do ask that after school, you ensure that your children are not roaming the hallways, and that they are just like all the other children in the school. They can please stay in your classroom, secured in your classroom, and having something for them to do so they're not running around. We don't want to jeopardize their safety in any way and have them running around the campus. Of course, you know that your children will also follow the school rules like all other Del Norte Heights students. And they do not have special privileges. They need to line up outside with their classmates like all other children, and they shouldn't be roaming around the hallways. Office. When requiring anything from the office, please ask the friendly front office staff to assist you. We do have the request form that was created for you, and we do have the office closet that is available to you. If something is missing in there, please let Miss Ashley know. She is in charge of the inventory for that closet, and she will restock it, and she will get you the supplies that you need as soon as possible. Attendance and accounting. This is a huge one, teachers. Attendance and accounting. Attendance must be taken at 9:30 every day. At the beginning of the school year during PD week next week, we will touch base on this issue because our district has been audited and we have lost thousands and thousands of dollars because teachers have not taken attendance within the snapshot. We are one of those campuses. We only had a very small percentage of teachers with that high number of teachers taking attendance on time. That has caused us to lose a whole lot of money. So teachers, I am going to ask you and hold you to ensuring that you take attendance every single day at 9:30 when that bell rings. Me and Ms. Urenia have thought up of a way that we can all stop and reflect. So at 9:30 when that bell rings, we're going to call it stop and reflect time. Students will stop, reflect what they have done for the morning at 9:30, and they will write it in their writing ISNs, whatever it is that they have done for that morning, or anything that they would like to journal write. No more than 5 minutes, but that gives you an opportunity to take attendance and an opportunity for your children to write. So please make sure that you take attendance at 9:30. That is also part of T-Test Domain 4. So we have to make sure that attendance is taken on a daily basis and at the time it's supposed to be taken. Okay? So we do understand that there are special circumstances like STAR testing, and other instances like such as a field trip or whatnot. Those are special circumstances that happen only once or twice a year. Other days, there should be no excuses. Attendance must be taken at 9:30. Grades. Alrighty. So I have attached below the grading progress and grade report due dates. So here you have the end of the grading period, the verification date, the distribution of progress report or report card dates. So this calendar is here to help you and guide you based on those dates. Now, if we move back up here, I have cut and paste the district policy for grading periods. So anytime a student is absent, make sure you give them that 1 day to make up that work. I was looking through the grading policy. It is understood that if you give a student a 0 in the gradebook, that 0 is followed by parent contact. You must contact parents if you are giving students a 0 in the gradebook. We provide students with opportunity to redo classwork. I completely am for you guys giving them the minimum grade of a 70 for that makeup assignment. Teachers, also one quick reminder with grades, we will also be giving students reading level grades. These grades will be given to students at least 3 times every 9 weeks. At no time should conduct ever be reflected in an academic grade. These two categories are separate in entities and in functions. They are both independent. So never give a conduct grade that reflects an academic grade at all. CUME folders. Please make sure that anything in their CUME folder students is documentation, including LEP students. All information is accurate and is in their folders. Same goes for any GT student or any 504 student. If you decide to check out a CUME folder, you must check it out with Miss Ruby in the front office and make sure she is aware of it and it is signed out. Those CUME folders should not be taken out of her office at any time because they are confidential documents and they must be locked in the file cabinets, in her file cabinets. Withdrawal of students. As you know, anytime a student is withdrawn from our campus, we have 3 days to close their CUMEs. So if Miss Ruby asks you to close out their CUME, sign some documents, you can please get that done as soon as possible. Cell phone policy for students. Anytime a student is caught with a cell phone, we will first give them a warning, then we will have them pay the $15 fine, and then we will make parent contact and confiscate the phone if we need to. Parent communication. We've talked about parent-teacher conferences, but if you can ensure that you use your communication folder or Class Dojo to communicate with parents based on student progress, positive and negative reports as well, any meetings, holidays, that we provide our parents with as much information as possible through the communication folder or through Class Dojo. Here you will find information on our school counselor. If you wish to refer a student to our school counselor, the form is attached to our Falcon Forecast Weekly down at the bottom. If you simply click on the link, you can fill out the form. Once Ms. Soto receives that form, she will follow the procedures to meet with your students. Our school counselor will also see students during classroom guidance to implement character education. She will also make every attempt to schedule counseling sessions at times that will be least disruptive to your students and to the campus environment as well. On occasion, that is not possible, and we do work with you as much as possible, so please just be flexible whenever she does need to see your students. Students are to be sent to the counselor session when scheduled unless the students are absent. It's important because now, and it has been part of our curriculum to teach SEL and to teach the character education components. Some of these students are required to have designated time allotment with the counselor, and it's under the requirements of their individual education plans under 504 behavior plans as well. So please, faculty, if you are understanding with us and you understand that expectation that we adhere to our 504 plans for all our counseling sessions that students may need to see our school counselor for. When reporting child abuse and neglect, it is your obligation by state law to report child abuse and neglect. So you do have to report it to the Texas Department of Family Protective Services. Ms. Soto will also be giving us a training on child abuse and neglect. She'll give you the proper procedures to follow, who you need to contact, and you also have to report to employee relations that you did make a report. Your classroom environment. Classroom environment. So we ask that you clearly define your procedures and routines the first day of school. As you know, curriculum moves very quickly, and we will start curriculum the first week of school. So if you define those procedures and routines the first day of school, everything else should fall into place. Teach your students your classroom procedures and their routines. Monitor your student behavior. Handle inappropriate behavior promptly and consistently using our PBIS system. Plan ahead and be organized. When conferencing with students, please be sure to do it in private. Do not conference with the student in front of all other students. Make sure students are treated fairly and with dignity. Do not ridicule students or make sarcastic remarks in front of other students in the classroom. Do not use office or hallway for classroom detention purposes. We are here to help you implement the PBIS system, and we will support you in anything that you may need assistance with. PBIS. Del Norte Heights Elementary will follow the Positive Behavior Intervention Support PBIS framework. PBIS is a decision-making framework that guides the integration and implementation of evidence-based academics and behavioral practices for improving important academic and behavior outcomes for all of our students. DNES is currently in year 2 of implementation. Behavior reflection forms, BRFs. Teachers, we will continue implementing our BRFs just like we did last year. This is year 2 of implementation, so we are all well versed on how a behavior reflection form works. Last year, our focus was to implement the core values in the specific areas of the campus and to implement the use of the behavior reflection forms, which we will continue this school year. So here are some key reminders about behavior reflection forms. Behavior reflection forms should be given to students when they have been on a verbal warning and reminded of the core expectation. Students should complete the forms themselves. Of course, our kinder and first grade students may need that additional assistance. Behavior reflection forms should be submitted to the Google form provided for tracking. Please keep in mind the purpose of tracking the behavior reflection forms to assist the team to become proactive of behaviors in the specific areas. We are just doing data monitoring, and every time you give a behavior reflection form, you can take time and input that data into the Google form. We will give you more information on that Google form during our August 19th PD. Teachers may then send the behavior reflection form home for parent signature and keep for their own record once it is returned. When completing a referral, a behavior reflection form will be used as documentation of all interventions provided before a referral is given. So here is a flow map of a Tier 1 where a student has been successful. So Tier 1, is the student being successful? Yes. Have a great year. Tier 1, a student is being successful? No. So we follow the procedures with the verbal warning. We reteach with reflection, reteach intervention reflection, parent-teacher, student conference with the reflection form, and conference with PBIS representative or counselor. At that point, was a problem then resolved? Yes, then continue with Tier 1. Have a great year. No, the problem was not resolved, then we recommend PBIS committee to Tier 2 based on the weekly data collection of that student. When do I give a behavior reflection form? When giving a behavior reflection form, it is important that we use them when a behavior has not met the expectation. Giving behavior reflection forms for reasons not specified in the core expectations will result in them losing all credibility. Please follow the flowchart as the direction on when to give a behavior reflection form. So, core expectations. In year 2, we will continue to grow with the initiative and incorporate our campus-wide aligned classroom expectations. So each classroom from kinder through 6th grade will follow the same classroom expectations. With that said, we will remove past common practices like stop signs, moving the clip up or down, happy faces, sad faces. Instead, we will follow the classroom expectations created by a combination of classroom expectations brainstormed last year during our PD. Classroom expectations will be printed for each classroom and be posted to review with students at the beginning of each year and as needed throughout the school year. So below here are our core expectations for 2019-2020 school year. We have respect, responsibility, safety, and kindness. Those are our core values. We have what are some of the things that we look for in the classroom, the cafeteria, the hallways, the restrooms, the playground. In the classroom, we want to make sure that they use their inside voice, they listen attentively to your teacher. Follow dress code, complete all classroom assignments, be prepared with materials, use technology appropriate, and arrive on time. Safety, keep hands and feet to yourself, keep food and all drinks in appropriate areas. Kindness, compliment, encourage your classmates, use positive words, be a good listener. So this is our core matrix this year, our PBIS matrix that we will be using throughout the year and making sure that we revisit as many times as possible with our students. We will have contracts for all our students. Parents will be given a brief explanation of PBIS and the core expectation at open house August 22nd. When meeting with your parents, teachers, we will ask for parents to sign the core expectation contract. The understanding of the contract is the explanation of students on campus and parent support at home when receiving updates from your teacher on student behavior. Once you have received the contracts from all your students, you will keep them for your record. Below is the attached contract. I will share it with you in just a moment. Give me 5 Falcon Pride. This is something that we will be starting this school year. In an effort to maintain uniformity on our campus, we will implement a simple call-out practice to gather the students' attention. This call-out will be used in class, PE, hallways, cafeteria, during assemblies. This should be incorporated in the first week procedures modeled and practiced daily. For example, the teacher says, "Give me 5." Student responds, "Falcon Pride." What does this mean? Eyes are focused on the speaker. Body is still and straight. Hands are at your side. Ears are listening. And mouth is quiet. Alrighty, teachers, and here on this page you will find the Del Norte Heights Core Expectation Contract. This contract will be signed by the students and the parents. This way our parents and our students will know our expectations and know what will need to happen with behavior reflection forms. Here is our matrix, and all our students will have it and understand it as well. Our consequences provided, as well as severe clause, and then moving down, parent signature, student signature. So each student will receive this form. If we can please give it to them on the 22nd when they come in and review it with the parents and have parents and students sign it as well. Here is the Del Norte Elementary Core Expectation Contract for all students. I am making a small adjustment here. Here we go. I will print these and I will give them out to you for the 22nd for you to review with all parents and students during parent orientation. And it has our matrix, our consequences, our severe clause, parent signature, student signature. So that is our core expectation contract for our students. Moving on. So here are our Del Norte Heights Elementary Instruction non-negotiables. I will be printing this out for each teacher. We will be reviewing it during the PD week as well. But it is here for you to review and make sure that you are understanding of the non-negotiables for our campus. Below is the RTI process. This is the RTI process that we will follow. So we will be meeting in September with teachers about students who are currently in RTI from the previous year. Monitoring forms will be given out at this meeting. In October, teachers will recommend new students to RTI based on iStation in-class test scores, grade level average, over time, which is a 6-week period, failure to achieve adequately for the student's age, or to meet state-approved grade level standards at that time in October. November through April, we will meet with teachers. RTI committee will meet with teachers about students who are currently in RTI and review student progress depending on tier. In RTI, teacher or interventionist will record progress on documentation and determine the next steps. In May, we will have our final meeting with the teachers about students who are currently in RTI to determine if we will exit the student or we will keep them in RTI. So according to TEA, RTI is an approach that schools will help all students, including all struggling learners. RTI is an approach given Texas students opportunity to learn and work at their grade level. So it is very important to stress that this is something TEA is requiring from all of us to do. We have some helpful information down below. Teachers must be in contact with parents prior to the RTI referral. Students being referred to RTI can be referred October through March. If a student is in 504 special education, they cannot be in RTI. You must call a 504 or an ARD immediately after the reporting period. When referring or meeting for a progress monitoring check, all materials must be turned in the Friday before the week of the meeting. All documentation must be turned in to the interventionist to ensure that we have all documentation in the system accurately. When attending the meeting, teachers must be prepared with student information and progress. RTI committee will send out parent notification letter that their child is in RTI, their goals, their interventions, and parent rights as well. Classroom teacher will provide recommendation for students who are in RTI Tier 3 with a progress monitoring sheet. Classroom teachers will use targeted instruction 12 weeks for 90 minutes a week and document student progress along with the documentation and parent communication. Remember, these are not things that we have just made up and wanted you to do. This is state mandate now, and these are requirements that we must have to follow. After 12 weeks, RTI committee will determine the next steps for that student, and we will work thereafter to determine a plan for that student. After 4 weeks, the RTI committee will determine the next steps and the plan of action moving forward with this student. Falcons, moving on. So movies. Central office personnel will be making periodic visits to the campuses. I would not like for them to come into one of your classrooms and you be watching a movie that is not appropriate or you have not asked for permission to view with your students. Below you will find a movie request form. I ask that you submit that form anytime you are watching a movie with your students. Please ensure that you fill this out and you put the movie rating. A lot of the times we're not aware that some of those movies are PG-13, especially towards the end of the school year. I do not want this to happen, and I do want to be aware of what our students are watching and what it is they are doing. Do not use your classroom time to show movies with no instructional focus or as a reward. We will do the rewards for any type of movie that we show our students. We have a movie license for that, and we will do it. If you're reading a novel, if you're reading a book, and then you're wanting to share that movie with your students afterwards, please just fill out the movie request form and tell me what it is that you'll be watching with your students. Moving down, our field trips. So as you know, our budget is really tight, so I do ask that any field trips that you are planning on having within the school year, you are aware that our students will be having to fund transportation as well as a field trip itself. So field trips are accessible as a vehicle to enhance or supplement instructional material. So field trip request form must be filled out by the associate superintendent 30 days prior to that field trip. So we have to start working on those field trips, especially for the end of the year. I do want our kiddos to be celebrated and attend field trips because many times they don't go anywhere. So I do want them to be able to experience outings, but we do have to follow certain procedures as well. Okay? Field trip request form is here below. So if you can also, we can print this for you. Maria will have a field trip request forms, and you will just fill them out, and I will fill out as well, and we'll send in for documentation, for signatures actually, from our associate superintendents. And finally, we're coming to an end with closing the year. When closing the year, is not difficult, but yet it requires organization. The secret is to keep textbook inventory, especially those of you teachers that have the hardcover books. First grade and second grade will now have those hardcover books. I know that sixth grade has some hardcover books as well. Please make sure you keep inventory. You make sure your CUME folders are updated throughout the school year. And you keep inventory of your computers in your classroom, any technology that you may have in your classroom. In April, you will need to complete the award form and return it to the office. The number of awards will need to be estimated. No changes in awards will be made after the deadline date. Inform families if their children will not be receiving awards, and remember, we are about students giving students hope. I'm sorry about that. Have final conferences with parents of students who are possible retainees. That is very important. Please do not give parents false hopes. We want to ensure that we give them the information that they need, because a lot of the times parents are under the impression that their children are doing so good, and then at the end of the year we're scrambling to have those conferences with parents for possible retainees. So start talking to parents about progress of their students, and let's be honest with them if we foresee retention in their future. And then of course work on your CUME folders. That's a biggie, so that we can close out the year in a good manner. You must have a cumulative folder for every student in order to clear at the end of the school year. So make sure that you clear with Ruby with all your CUME folders in the place that they are supposed to be. Alrighty, Falcons, and that sums up our Falcon Employee Handbook. I thank you for taking this time out to review the handbook with me. If you have any questions, please email, call me, text me. I am always available to you. My door is always open as well. We'll see you, and I hope you have a great year. This video will be attached with some questions. Please answer those questions. We will have a certificate for you to print out, and that way we complete our Campus Employee Handbook training. Thank you. Have a great day, evening, afternoon.